final press conference ahead of tomorrow's opening fixture in the Wanda Diamond League, the Muir Grand Prix Gateshead. We're scheduled to start at 1:30. That's when people will be tuning in on the live stream. So we're just going to fill the 6 or 7 minutes ahead of that by having photos taken individually and together against the backdrop. So those of you who have got cameras, if you want to come to central position, and we'll start with our first guest. I'm very, very nervous about pronouncing her name because it has caused many a slip this week. It's Sha'Carri Richardson, 10-7. Look at that. I've cleared the first height at the first attempt. If you'd like to stand, Sha'Carri, please, with your bib, and we'll go ladies first. All done. And then closest to me, prodigious pole vaulter, European champion, and the last time he was in Britain, I think it was to set a world record indoors in Glasgow. Welcome back, Mondo Duplantis. Are we going to go masks on or masks off? Are we allowed masks off for a photo? Yeah, masks off, that's okay. Do you want to go again, Sha'Carri? Okay. Okay, all done, Mondo. Sha'Carri without the mask. Thank you. And our final guest at the far end, double European champion outdoors, double European champion indoors, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, who goes in the 1500 for Norway. Okay, can we do three together? If you step back a little bit and keep it socially distanced, if you all three of you wouldn't mind standing up, please, with your bibs, and we'll just catch you in formation. Thank you. Well, I'll just check with Matthew whether we're clear to start on the live stream. We are. So welcome everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. I know some of you have had tricky journeys to be here. I've primed all three of you with questions that we also asked Laura Muir and Dina this morning, because it's the last week of school for those doing exams in the UK. What was the worst ever school report that you got? We'll start with Jakob, because I know what yours was.
So I was told that I was being nonchalant, and then kind of sitting weird on my chair. But other than that, I can't remember much because, yeah, was just running away from the teachers.
By the way, congratulations on your engagement recently. Another good man bites the dust.
Yeah, thank you.
What's the Norwegian for nonchalant if we need it in the stadium tomorrow?
Cocky or just
cocky.
Nonchalant.
Cocky.
Yeah.
Cocky is the Norwegian for nonchalant.
Arrogant.
Arrogant. Okay. We'll see if we need to use that. What are your thoughts tomorrow? You're a red-hot favourite for the men's 1500 metres. The weather conditions aren't great. That never seems to bother you too much.
No, I'm used to running in rain and at least wind on the west coast. So for me, I think that would be preferable for winning tomorrow. But at the same time, it's the same for everybody. So I'm just looking forward to open the season, to race, and I think we'll have to see tomorrow.
One feature of your race could be that it decides the Australian team for the Olympic Games. Australia are very strong at men's 1500 metres at the moment, and tomorrow could be the clincher for selection, at least for the third place. Have you any thoughts to that, about how those guys will tackle it, whether they'll sit on you or whether they'll tow you around?
I don't think that's gonna have anything to do with my race. Or, of course, I have to be competitive and to respond to anything that the other guys are doing. But it's cool for me to see that the Australians are doing so well and running as fast as they are. It's fun to see that the event is getting better.
Sha'Carri, welcome to Gateshead, welcome to the UK. Sorry about the weather. Mind you, I was in Florida in March, April for a training camp, and the weather hasn't been too clever where you've been based this spring, has it?
No, it hasn't. Florida is definitely indecisive. We have rainy days, we have very hot days, we have in-between days. So I think that's training there actually has prepared me for all conditions.
What was your worst ever school report?
I would say my worst ever school report, I wouldn't stop talking in class.
Too talkative.
Too talkative, yeah.
Mondo's nodding. Mondo's going next, but that's giving him an idea. Are you happy with the expectation that's following now as the fastest woman in the world, that you'll be expected to win every race that you do? Are you comfortable with that, or is that a relatively new thing?
Actually, it's not a relatively new thing. I've always had of myself, and I know of the public, they have high expectations of me. So it's not necessarily new. It's just more so of actually having to, if anything, just block out that and remembering my craft, remembering that every time I step on the track, it's just to execute in the best way. And if that means leading to victory every single time, then that's just a bonus.
And in a 100, how reliant on you are you on a fast start? Can you still pull it back if you get out slowly out the blocks?
Y'all seen my races. Y'all know how that's going down.
So, we have 60-metre specialists who really need to get out quick out of the blocks if they're to have any chance over 100. But you have a strong second half, don't you?
It's obvious, yes.
Mondo, welcome back to Britain. Is it your first time since breaking the world record in Glasgow?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds right.
And what were your memories of that?
Pretty decent memories. Last time I was here in the UK, I jumped 6:18, so it was. It's the best competition I've had thus far in my career, and I would say, when I step back on the UK soil, I have pretty good feelings over here.
And I don't know if you remember, but you were off the runway and there was a false start or something on the track, and you had to step on all of a sudden and do it in no time at all. That didn't faze you even slightly, did it?
Oh, I still made the bar. I still jumped 6:18, so it didn't faze me too much, I guess.
What was your worst ever school report?
I took, when I was in middle school, we were able to pick between Spanish and French. And I remember at the time, maybe I was 13 or 14 years old, so I wasn't jumping that high. It was more like Renault was the best in the world, so I speak French because maybe one day if I was able to compete against him, I'll learn French and be able to say a couple words to him. But the class started at 7.
Right.
So I slept most of the days, and it didn't really work out that well, and I never learned French, so that was probably my worst was French. I was very bad.
Of course, school is a relatively recent thing for all three of you because the oldest of you is 21, so we're not going that far back, going back to school.
Me and Sha'Carri went to school together.
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
LSU.
At LSU.
Oh, school being college?
Yeah.
Not high school, yeah. So, and you both only did 1 year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you discuss the decision to turn pro? You just decided independently after a year to go?
But it was relatively, I think, more impulsive for her than me because she was kind of blew up like that.
Yeah.
She was really fast, of course, but she went from really fast to superstar fast in the matter of 1 meet. And then after that, it was she's going pro.
LSU was it where your parents met? So you almost had a family tradition of needing to go there for at least a year.
Yeah, exactly. And so, my mother's Swedish, and she met my father on the track team LSU, and then they met there, and they stayed in Louisiana ever since. And I grew up in Lafayette, an hour west of Baton Rouge, but there wasn't really a proper place to train there, so that was a big reason why I wanted to go to LSU too, because it's some of the best facilities in the entire country, so it was a good place to go and think about the future just getting better. It's a good place to train.
Sha'Carri, why did you choose it, and do you miss it, having only done a year there?
I would definitely say I missed the college experience, but I'm even happier for the decision I made. I definitely enjoyed LSU. I had a great time there. I felt like I've developed in a different way there. Met amazing people like Mondo. So I enjoy LSU, and I miss it just a little bit.
So the other thing we asked all of you and those this morning, 3 words to describe yourself, in your own words, and something we don't know about you. So starting with Jakob. And if we've got the iPad with the questions externally, we have, yeah. Thank you.
I'm not that good in describing myself, but I have to say competitive, obviously. Stubborn, probably, and I hope to be fast. And one thing that some people don't know is probably that I'm a big car enthusiast.
So in collecting, watching.
Watching, just interests, hobbies, yeah, other than training and competing in running.
And I asked you this earlier, so you've had time to think about it. Assuming you lose at some point in your career in the future, would you rather lose to a Chariot or an Ingebrigtsen?
10 out of 10, Ingebrigtsen.
You'd be happy to lose within the family, as long as it stays in the family?
Yeah. After all, we are brothers.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
I don't want to be beaten by anybody else.
Okay. Sha'Carri, describe yourself in 3 words and tell us something we didn't already know about you.
I would describe 3 words to describe myself. I would say unique, feisty,
Yes.
and definitely determined. And one thing I would say about myself that you guys probably didn't know, I love food.
Food. All right. In the past, you've spoken about your battles with your mental health. How are things at the moment? Because during lockdown and at a very high level within the UK, mental health has been discussed a lot in the last year or so. What are your thoughts on it? What helps you cope best, and what advice would you give to people in sport and wider afield in coping with mental health issues?
I would say how I myself cope with my mental health issues or just being mentally balanced is that there's different methods I use. I'll journal. I'll have like self-talk with myself. I also have like different breathing methods I'll use. I go to therapy. And honestly, what I would just tell people that feel like they're battling with mental issues or just trying to find more of a mental balance is that you have to just be willing to acknowledge the fact that you need help and be willing to put yourself out there to go and get that help and just allow yourself to be vulnerable in a way that you feel like you haven't been. I think that's the advice I would definitely give to people. And the reason why mental health is so big to me, not only with just my own struggles, I feel like in the athletic world, it's not discussed a lot. Like, it's really swept under the rug, and we're just seen as, just go out there and perform. Just go out there and do what it is that you're best at. But at the end of the day, we're still humans, too. We still have our battles. We still have our lives. So that's why I definitely, with any chance, I don't mind speaking on my personal issues. That way somebody can take.
And do you find being in an athletics and a sporting environment helps or can impede your development when things are going badly?
Honestly, both ways. Sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's a strain.
Okay, thank you. Mondo, 3 words to describe yourself and something we didn't know about you.
I feel like Jakob took a lot of mine.
Like, I think.
It's so tough. I don't want to be too cliche about it. I don't. What do you? I don't know. What do you? Say some words that you think would describe me, and I'll tell you if it's true or not.
Prodigy.
See, I don't want to say yeah, but I was good when I was young though. But yeah, sure. So I mean, you could say it, but I'm not gonna like stand 10 toes on it.
Confident.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. I mean, I'm human though. I have my moments, of course, where, you know, I can be low in confidence at times. You know, there's definitely times where it's a little bit of a struggle to feel comfortable on the runway, or, you know, I don't feel on top of the world at times. But I would say overall I'm a confident guy. Yeah.
Chilled.
Chill. Yeah, I'm chill. I'm a chill guy.
The Swedish side.
Yeah, that's the Swedish chill. Yeah, for sure. I take after my mom on that side. Yeah.
And something we don't know about you.
That I'm super chill. Like, I can. You can ask my girlfriend here. I could just spend a day doing nothing really. Like, I could just sit in a day and I could just watch Netflix all day if I need to. I think that's a big reason is because I know that I need rest, and then I need to feel good for the next upcoming days, especially when it's competition season. But yeah, I mean, I like to go out and do stuff. I love to play golf, and I like to explore cities and stuff like that. But if I have to spend a day inside, like when it was peak pandemic last March and stuff like that, just spend a day inside and just chill with my family and watch Netflix, I'll be fine.
You've got, because of your family background in pole vault, you've got a personal best going back to age.
I don't.
6, 7,
Yeah, 6, 5.
which is quite unusual for pole vault.
Yeah.
There's not too many kids of 6 who've
Yeah.
got a pole vault personal best. Was there any danger at any point in your development that you might have gone to baseball? Because there's a bit of a family strand of that, isn't there?
Yeah. The middle brother, he wasn't that big in the pole vault. He almost more just did it just to keep somebody competitive with me. He more did it as like a favor to me. Because when I would want to go in the backyard and I'd want to jump, I didn't feel like jumping by myself, especially if my father wasn't home. And he would just kind of go out there just to push me. And he didn't really like to do it. But I did love playing baseball. I love playing football. But I was always pretty talented in pole vault, and I always really loved it. And so it was, I don't know, it was going to be hard to not give me the pole vault, I would say.
And the fact that you've improved every single year for the last 15, 14 years, whatever it is that a little bit of a pressure that you've got to keep that little sequence going?
No. I mean, I think I'm also still pretty young, so I think just naturally, I know that I can get better and just the ways of just getting a little faster, getting a little stronger, as long as I just do the right things in training and stuff like that. So, I am able to clear some higher bars now, especially, but it's still, even if it's a world record, it's still just my personal best, and I still know that if I did it, I can do it again, and if I could do it again, I could do it even better. So, I try not to think about it as too high. I just think about it as something that I've already done, and there's always ways to improve.
Is it still fun, vaulting?
I think these past couple of years have been the most fun I've had jumping. I mean, it feels like, sometimes when I'm out on the track, it just feels like, I'm just genuinely jumping in my backyard when I was 7 years old again.
Yeah.
I still have a really burning passion for it, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Sha'Carri, will it be fun tomorrow, or is it business?
It'll be fun and business. I can't deny the fact that it's definitely business, but if you allow it to be all business, then how will you really enjoy it, and how will you be able to put on your best performance? So,
Do you get nervous before races?
yes, I'm human. I'll be lying and say if I don't get nervous, but I don't allow that to consume me because I know what it is. I know I'm confident in my abilities, and at the end of the day, I'm doing what I do every day. So,
Jakob, do you get nervous? Still fun?
Really nervous. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I get maybe the last 4-5 hours before the race. I get usually the same mental routine. So I usually get really nervous, even though it's not a big race. And if it's a really big race, it's usually the same. So.
Can you nap and sleep and things?
Yeah. That I usually do some naps on the day of the competition, but nerves really helps me being prepared and being mentally prepared for what I'm doing and the challenges that I have had on the day of competition.
One of the first events anywhere during lockdown was that 5K that you ran in Norway over a year ago now. It does seem like in the last couple of years you can come out at any month of the year on any surface and race pretty strongly. Is that just a measure of how consistent your training is, or?
Yes, mostly, because most of our training is high mileage and threshold training. But I think it's more the mentality of doing more race-specific training in the season or during the summer, that it's you feel a little bit more fresh and more ready to run fast. But all in all, physically at least, I think it's almost the same all year round.
And just before we go to questions in the room and on the web feed, doubling. What are your thoughts on a possible 5,000 double in Tokyo? Are you concentrating on just one event or considering it?
If I can win as much as possible in a short period of time, I want to do that.
So what does that mean?
If it's possible, then I want to win everything. But if it's not possible, then I have to focus on doing as well as I can in one, and then focus on maybe something else next time.
Is your place on the Norwegian Olympic team already guaranteed, or have you got to run the trials or?
No, we don't have any trials. We just have to do the standard and show that we're able to run fast when the championship comes.
And Sha'Carri, by contrast, you have to be on the line in any event you want to be selected for at US trials. What are your thoughts at the moment?
Right now, at the moment, I am definitely knowing that is going to be, if not one of the most important meets I've ran thus far, and I am looking forward to it. I will be doubling, so I know I have to focus on the one, and I'll finish that one and then transfer my focus over to the 200. So I'm ready. I feel like USA Trials is a mini Olympics itself.
Yeah.
So
and
I'm ready
relay?
for the competition,
Relay potentially as well?
if possible.
Okay, questions from you. Wendy has the microphone, starting with Ewan.
Sha'Carri, just to follow on from what you were saying about the Olympic trials, how competitive and how difficult an event is it? And also, how do you see, in terms of the profile or raising the profile of track and field in America, how important do you see your contribution to that?
I feel like my contribution to bringing, honestly, just the track and field in general is just showing people that you can be just as talented, no matter your appearance, no matter, how vocal you are, because at the end of the day, when you step onto the track, we're all doing the same thing. We're all in a lane trying to get down to the finish line first. So I just want people to see that and at the end of the day, all of our end goal is the same, but we don't necessarily all have to walk the same path.
No, she's being humble. She's a huge deal. But really, when I tell people in the United States that I went to LSU and I was on track and field team, they always ask me about Sha'Carri.
And they always bring up him.
They bring up her. Me too.
Were you in any classes together? Did you overlap on your undergraduate?
No, we didn't have classes.
What did you do? What did you study?
I studied psychology.
You can't remember what you studied, Mondo.
I really don't. It was general business at first, and then I switched it to sports administration when I kind of figured out that I was probably going to go professional after the season.
Yeah.
So you knew, once you knew it was a year, you just tanked it.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I guess simply put, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sorry, just to follow up on that, have you noticed a bigger reaction to you in America? Has there been a noticeable change in the amount of attention you're receiving?
Yes, I've noticed a change of attention. I've definitely been more attention, but not even just in America. I feel like I've been getting more attention internationally as well. So I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but I mean, I'm here, so.
Do we need to disinfect the mic or something before passing it? Okay. If there's yes, Simon.
Sha'Carri, can I just ask you, you mentioned the trials there. I hate to bring this up, but obviously your last 100 metres defeat was the US champs in 2019. Mm-hmm. How much does that sort of drive you on in what you do now?
That race was definitely after a full indoor season and a full outdoor season, something that actually was a first for me. So having that race and the impulsive decision to go pro, that race was definitely humbling, if not anything. Not the fact that I was disappointed in losing. It was more so to say it made me learn myself and more so of my body. So it was more so of a growing experience and definitely it's motivation. So every time I step on the track, I know after that people definitely was thinking my 1075 was a fluke in college. So I definitely made it to prove a point that when I do get the training and the base foundation that I need, and once the professional races started, I was going to definitely make sure people knew that I was a force to be reckoned with.
Could I just ask you one other thing, also on the subject of profile, your rising profile? There's one of the main British newspapers today has your picture on the front page actually at the top, and it says, "This is the women's Bolt or the new Bolt." What do you think when you sort of see things like that?
When I see that, well, I haven't seen that, but when I do see it, I'm definitely still going to be shocked. Like, even though that I do these things and it's my talent, at the end of the day, I get shocked just as much as you guys when I step on the track and run the times that I do and things like that. But to hear things like that, it just shows people see not only potential in me, but they see greatness in me that I see in myself, but more so they're seeing more of it than I am, if that makes sense.
I'll give you a couple of questions that we've had online. They're both for Sha'Carri, both from The Guardian, and they say, how much of a statement are you hoping to make in tomorrow's race, and what should the millions watching your first UK appearance be expecting?
Oh, well, what I'm expecting tomorrow is to go out and perform and execute the race that me and my coach have been practicing and preparing for, and for the UK fans watching and everyone else watching, I just continue to just want to show them Sha'Carri Richardson, and every time I step on the track, I'm going to try to do something that I haven't done before.
How you had a one-to-one with the media earlier in the week. How did you reflect on that?
I'm sorry, what?
Your experience of dealing with the British media earlier in the week. The score draw?
Dealing with the British media early in the week, it definitely was a learning experience. It showed me and taught me how to more so interact with the media, whether or not if I disagree or agree or like it or dislike it, to keep my composure and to just always remain professional and not let anybody see me sweat.
Do you think you're a little bit misunderstood, perhaps?
Oh, most definitely. I know I'm misunderstood. That's not a question. But at the same time, I'm not trying to be understood. If you don't understand me, then that's fine. But just don't disrespect me.
The Guardian also says, and it's, again, it's for you, Sha'Carri, this week the British sprinter Adam Jamili said he would take a knee at the Tokyo Olympics in support of Black Lives Matter if he won a medal. And he predicts that all hell would break loose if the IOC tried to stop athletes protesting. Where do you stand?
Oh, most definitely. I feel like I am a big advocate for Black Lives Matter. I'm a proud Black woman. Part of why I'm so successful and I'm so motivated is because of my Black history. And I definitely want to be part of that. So definitely going into that, of course, they've said their opinions and they've said their restrictions. But at the end of the day, we as people, we have our own beliefs. We have our own rights. At the end of the day, you have to know when the right time to stand for something right. You have to know when you have that platform, how to use it in a correct way. So I'm definitely going to show the world that Black Lives Matter forever and always.
Any more questions in the room? Okay. Thank you to all three of you for joining us.
Thank you.
Very best of luck tomorrow. Ignore the weather. There's going to be some great contests, and good luck in the first Wanda Diamond League fixture. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.